a lot about my existence too. Like I say, America is just a name. I mean, we could be uh, California, the Great United California, which was my other name. I had two names for my country, California or America. I liked America better because I am a person of flight. I invented aircraft, and I had the biggest, largest aircraft manufacturing company in the world, which went from Europe to Russia. Well, actually, started in Russia. They were right about that. I forgot about that. My old Russian aircraft. Well, I started out in Germany somewhere, and then I had this, and I had trees or something, or I mean, I had this thing in Russia or whatever. It's really weird. Like I had this manufacturing plant somewhere in Russia or somewhere up in there. I don't know really remember where it was. Just we use wood. They use steam presses to make these ribs for aircrafts or something like that. It was really weird. It was a company I used to own. Basically, I made a lot of money because everyone loved aircraft, and we made these really nice aircraft. You know, we would take hardwood. See, you can cut wood into sections, and then you use a steam press and go. And what you get is this beautifully curved, perfect wing. Basically, if you use a steam press, you can create these huge curved, even three-way bends. You can even get wood to bend three directions a little bit. You know, to create these beautiful wings out of wood. You know, if you have a piece of steel and it's perfectly done, and then it has a little steam stuff, you go, and then you hold it, and then you heat it up, and if you dry the wood out, and then pop it out, it'll be dry, and it'll be exactly the shape that you had it when it was wet. Wood's really cool like that. In that one, if you soak it in water and then you take it and then you apply heat and steam, you can press it into really cool shapes, and then you dry it out with heat and almost get really hot, but the water will keep it from actually burning. See, normally it would burn, and you can heat it up. You use a lot of energy, and you heat it up with electrodes and stuff, just like you'd be forging stuff. You heat up the steel, and heat up the thing, and the wood will bake, and the water will just turn into steam, and then it goes. And what that actually does is it also loosens the fibers of the wood and makes it bend into really cool shapes. Like you can get a three-way bend by having wet wood that is soaking wet, and then putting it in a thing, and then using heat and steam. You can actually get a three-way bend. And then as the water as the water is actually vaporizing out, like it'll jiggle the wood fibers. And when it's jiggling the wood fibers, it'll actually bend more into a three-way. As the water is escaping the wood, it jiggles the little fibers, and as it's jiggling the fibers, the fibers will adjust and move until you can actually get a three-way bend out of wood. Believe it or not, no one. I guess you don't know that. It's a lost science. Anyway, but basically, yeah, you can create like cup shapes out of wood almost, or at least compound bends out of wood. If it's wet wood and you steam it and heat it, it'll get a three-way bend. Because as the water is leaking out, it's adjusting all that wood and makes it go, because some fibers go this way, some fibers go that way, and basically you get these ridiculous bends, pretty much, or something like that. Anyway, I just know they use steam and heat and electrodes to go and then pop, you get your wing or whatever, or car fender. It doesn't matter. Wood's really ridiculously moldable, bendable, almost as bendable and moldable as steel. It's almost like a secondary like little line. Anyway, I owned that company. We made cars, we made aircraft, we made everything. Anyway, we made ribs for aircraft, and then you could take the siding and go and then what you get is a piece of wood that's very strong and very good, and then you just go on there. And if you use epoxy, it actually, wood is comparable to steel, and it doesn't rust. Like I said, the cool thing about the bad thing about metallurgy is that, well, it's very hard. It's a lot easier to make a wooden aircraft than it is to actually make a steel aircraft, because there's more wood than there is steel, and wood will last 30 to 100 years, no problem, if you keep it dry and take care of it. If you let it get wet, then yes, it's going to bend. But as long as it's in a dry environment, you can take it out and go, and the wood doesn't rot. It lasts a very long time. Whereas metal, on the other hand, it'll, if metal will just rust anyway, no matter what, practically. It's very hard. You have to keep it oiled or something like that. Metal actually doesn't last anywhere near as long as wood. Wood will last thousands of years compared to metal, which only lasts hundreds or whatever years. So anyway, so I had this. So I had all these wood and steam. There's a great big steam, like the thing the size of this room, or bigger. Where it's basically a big thing, and it was a wing. Is a wing mold, and you just it's already and once you make these machines, they last forever. You just stamp, new piece of wood, stamp, new piece of wood, stamp. And you can stamp out wings really frickin' fast, really really fast, and they're pretty light and they're pretty strong. It's a little bit heavier than metal. Aluminum is better, but and so is metal. Light metal is actually better, but yeah, it's comparable almost. Aluminum can actually be better, but anyway though, I had a wooden steam press mold factory. And later on, I had an aluminum press mold aluminum factory. But anyway, aluminum works better when it's thicker. Wood, yeah, either way. Anyway, though, so production, Lusifer Star, and I used to have these companies, a lot of them, and we used to make aircraft and we made cars, and then because metal was so rare, we had small engines. Like I say, we had alcohol burning wooden engines. They would burn alcohol. You just put the alcohol in, it goes, and it, they use great big huge pistons, like 1 foot pistons. You just put the alcohol in, it goes, and it churns, and then the the thing churns, and using oak wood, it would last a couple years, not that long, really. But the thing is, you would need like a really long engine, like a 13 cylinder engine or something like that. So it's like funk, 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 and then it goes funk, 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 and then and it just keeps doing that. It has to cool a bit between what's called and the alcohol. You need something really explosive and really what's called. It goes funk, and then you can actually get some power out of that, especially with a big wheel. So anyway, and you have these great big things. So anyway, and then you wait like 30 seconds between ignition sources, and then basically you can run these things. You just got to wait for the engine to cool down just a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, or you have to spray. I think we did maybe like a spray. We had a spray system where it'd spray in a little bit of water in the cylinder. So after it goes punk, then you go or something like that. I don't know. We had this system. Anyway, I spent a little bit of money on it. I had people playing around with it. So we did a lot of stuff with wood back in the day. Just messing around. So anyway, yeah, it really sucks because they should have taken more pictures, but we didn't take pictures back then. So there's some really crazy cool stuff, all made out of oak wood. But that was before. But then, like I said, there were fires, and wood burns, so it's gone. Oh well. Beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful, really old wood. There was engines and stuff that went back thousands of years, like 3,000 years, perfectly been preserved. And then a fire would go through and it's gone. Gone forever. Ash. I think even the glass plates, all the photographs burned too. Because they were made of glass plates, so they melted and burned. And it's gone forever. Anyway, our history going back thousands of years. All the wonderful people, all the memories, gone. No one will ever know. Except for these videos. So, anyway, like I say, in the end, it's just tears and crying, and there were a lot of happy times. There were a lot of love, a lot of togetherness. There was also a lot of sex. Anyway, I hate horrible people. I love being the leader of so many. Like I said, I'm not even human, really. I'm from a billion years before humanity. I created endoskeletons and exoskeletons. And I just chose to be here with you people. So anyway, whatever. But when I die, you can know that you're creator of the human race and 12 other races.